Okay guys, so we've talked about our body position in terms of our posture. Now we're going to talk about our hand position in terms of our grip. So how should we place our hands onto the grip end of the club? And I like to try and almost keep this as natural as possible. So the first thing we're best to do is try and figure out what is our natural hand position. And probably the simplest way to do that is just to let your arms hang naturally from your shoulders. And what you'll notice is that the thumbs are slightly turned inwards and the palms are looking towards you. If I was to get into my posture and let the arms just hang from the shoulders, again, you can see that position hasn't changed, it's the same. The palms are looking towards you, the hands are turned inwards. So if I was to bring my hands together, we would create somewhat of a natural hand position or grip. And that's really what we want to try and follow when we get the club into position and we place our hands onto the end of the club or the grip. Okay? From here, you can see that my wrists easily want to move. There's no restriction. My wrists want to move up and down. And that's important when we talk about the golf swing later on in the DVD, using the wrists correctly. Say for example, if my thumbs were pointing down the middle, the wrists feel restricted. Or if my hands were too much underneath, again, the wrists are restricted. So you're quite far away from the natural position, which will restrict your wrist action, restrict your swing, and cause you to lose speed and distance. So getting the hands into this natural position for me is essential. You know, it's the only part of your body which is in contact with the club. It's your link between you and the thing in which you're going to strike the ball with. So on the priority list, it's right up there. It's pretty much close to number one. Okay, so we'll grab the club. So again, there's checkpoints. So I'm a right-handed golfer, so I will position my left hand on the top of the grip. And I like to start with my feet together. Let's get the club sitting on the grass in front with the club head square. You know, we don't want it open or closed. Make sure we have the club square before we do this. Then I just like to let the arm relax, and I almost just let the grip fall into my hand. Okay, and you can see from here, you can probably see about 1, 2, maybe 2.5 to 3 knuckles on the back of the left hand. There's a little crease or V shape here between my thumb and index finger. Now if I was to extend this line, it would probably go somewhere midway between my right shoulder, and that's a great checkpoint. You know, always look down and try and check that this imaginary line here is pointing towards the right shoulder. That's a good check to make sure the left hand is in a good position. Again, if you look at the thumb is sitting slightly to the side of the grip. Again, it's not down the middle, it's not underneath, it's just slightly to the side. And the thumb isn't stretched down the grip, it's kind of pulled back. So we don't want to let the left thumb get too long. That will restrict the swing. We want to keep it a little bit shorter, so everything's nice and neat and tidy. Okay. Now if we were just to look from this side, and if I was to kind of open the hand up, you can see here, the bottom of the grip kind of starts at the base or the root of the little finger, and it runs through or diagonally across the fingers and through the middle section of my index finger. So it runs from here, the bottom of the little finger, to the middle of the index finger, then we close the hand over. Okay? A nice little test is just to do this. See if you can move the wrist up and down. If you can do that freely, without any restriction, you know you've placed or positioned the left hand correctly on the golf club. Okay? So once the left hand's in place, we then have to obviously add the right hand. So the right hand kind of matches the club face. We want to keep it square. So I like to just bring it in nice and square and set it over the left thumb. So you can see from your angle, the left thumb is hidden. The lifeline underneath this soft pad, I like to get it sitting over the top of the left thumb. So that's a nice little phrase, a nice little thing to remember. Try and get the thumb through the lifeline of your right hand. So you can see from your angle, the left thumb is hidden. Again, from here, I can easily move the wrists up and down, showing me that yet again, I've positioned the right and left hand in the correct position. Okay? Now if I just put the club over my shoulder, there's 3 hand positions in terms of how we connect the hands or place the hands onto the grip. The first one is probably the 10-finger grip or baseball grip, where all 10 fingers sit on the club. This is quite good maybe for the junior golfer who doesn't have much strength. But for an adult golfer, I like to see a little bit of connection between the hands. So one of the most common grips is the interlocking grip, where the last 2 fingers of both hands link together. Okay? This gets them connected and helps the hand work as a team. So your dominant hand, whether that be your left or right hand, doesn't take over. You know, that can cause the club to open or close and hit the ball offline. Another grip, this is the one I use, is the overlapping grip, where I let the little finger on the right hand sit over or lap over the last finger, the index finger on the left hand. Again, it gets the hands connected and helps them work as a team. You know, initially as you learn this game, really spend time on developing a good grip. So you can experiment. You can maybe experiment a little bit with the interlocking, overlapping, figure out which one feels most comfortable for you. And once you find that, stick with it and perfect the correct positions which we have talked about. One last thing with the grip is your grip pressure. Obviously you don't want to squeeze this club to death. You want to hold it soft. You know, and I like to almost think about I'm holding a tube of toothpaste with the end open. I don't want to squeeze it so tight that the paste hits the grass. I want to hold it soft enough that I'm not going to drop the tube, okay? But we do want to squeeze it tight that all the paste lands on the grass. Soft enough that you can keep the paste inside the tubing, okay? Because what you'll find is you need a light grip in order to feel the weight of the club head. Okay, you can see I'm making a circle with the club head here. Now, I can sense the weight, so it feels heavy here, it feels light up here. It feels heavy as it comes down and around, feels light here. We need to sense the weight of the club. If we can't sense the weight of the club head, we can't swing it correctly. You know, this is the thing which we're hitting the ball with. We have to feel where the weight is, so we can strike the ball and create that consistent swing, okay? So not too tight, keep the hand soft, allow yourself to feel the weight of the club. This in turn will allow you to swing the club correctly, okay? So follow these simple points and develop a fantastic grip.